Well, hello, it is Dollywood's public opening day for the 2024 season. Since I visit this park a lot, obviously, I'm pretty familiar with it, so I'm taking the time today to go ahead and show you all what is changed during the off-season between 2023 and 2024. So let's go ahead and do it. Since I do live in the area, there'll be plenty more Dollywood content throughout the year, including a full video of my experience here today. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, be sure to subscribe to Coasting the Planet if you haven't already. And without any further ado, let's get into it. So before you even enter the park, right next to the ticket booths, there is this brand new restroom building, which is super nice. Looks a little bit generic on the outside, but once you get inside, they are very nice restrooms, I can guarantee. I just used them. They're very similar to the ones in Wildwood Grove, if you've ever been to the park before. So yeah, they're way before you get into the park, like next to the tickets here. So it is nice. I do think that restrooms in the parking lot outside the ticket stalls, something that every park should have, so it's good we have that now. Additionally, when you do get to the entry gates, you'll find these look a little bit different. All of the lanes that used to exist are pretty much completely gone. It's like almost completely open. Yeah, you just walk up, find somebody, they'll scan your QR code, and you'll notice on the very, very far right here, there's just like self-service stations. You can just kind of scan yourself in. So it's definitely a little bit of a different setup than what was going on before. So that's interesting for sure. In addition, when you get your season pass or ticket or whatever, you'll notice that it has a QR code instead of a barcode, as was previously the case. So QR codes apparently faster to scan than barcodes. Actually, I kind of believe it, because those old barcodes they used to use were kind of a pain in the butt. They'd kind of have to fiddle with them, get exactly the right angle. QR codes seem to scan pretty fast when I went in just now. So that new entrance combined with the QR codes should make entering the park a lot faster. So over here by Big Bear Mountain, we finally have a test seat. So for whatever reason, for its entire opening year last year, there was no test seats. So if you weren't sure if you were going to properly fit into the seat, you got out of luck. You kind of just had to guess, get to the station, and find out then. But you can see right here, there's a test seat now. So yeah, that's that. All of this fencing and platform and everything's brand new, so they must have put all this in the off season. And there's the test seat. No idea why they didn't have this last year, but here it is. You can push it down. Whoops, see the light go green when you good. It doesn't come back up by itself, but yeah, so that's nice. So another thing has to do with these wait time boards in the park. They used to cycle through the wait time for the attraction they were in front of and all the wait times in the park. But now they cycle through all the wait times in the park and all the show times in the park. Yeah, as you can see, a lot of things closed today. And it actually goes through 2 pages of attractions now, which is interesting. It used to just have all the major attractions on 1 page for wait times. But now it shows everything. So this page you'll see in just a second. It'll flip over to the 2nd page in alphabetical order. And then it'll go over to the show times. I see what they're trying to do, having the show times listed on this board. But at the same time, it is kind of annoying the board never cycles to show the wait time for this, the specific attraction it's in front of anymore. I liked the way it was before, just going between all the wait times and the attraction it's in front of. It's easy for someone like me that knows what ride this is to very quickly look at the list and see the time for this specific attraction. But I think it's hard for people that, are coming to the park for the first time, may not know the names of the rides right off the top of their head. Oh, hey, it's testing. That's good. But anyways, the show times, I get what they're trying to do, showing them there again, but I just think it's a little clunky. They'll work it out in time, I hope. But anyways, there are the show times on the board with everything else. I'm not sure I love this new system. It's just a little bit harder to read and see, and I thought what they had before was one of the best solutions I've ever seen at a theme park. So it's kind of sad that we've left a bit of that behind, but hopefully they figure out this new one pretty soon. Truth is, most of these attractions are just crappy little flat rides that are never really going to have a significant wait anyway, not the attractions where people really want to know what the wait time is. So I think it would be to their benefit to move the attractions back onto 1 page to show the important large attractions, and then have it cycle still through 3 screens, but instead of 2 pages of attractions, have just 1 page of major attractions and then a big wait time sign for this specific attraction, like it used to be. I think that would be good at Dollywood if you care at all what I think. So pretty decent change over at the grist mill, which is where you get the, cinnamon bread. You can see there's the grist mill right there, and that's where you used to go in and buy your cinnamon bread. And the line would always come all the way out here and down the path, seemingly to try to address that a little bit because there's a tiny building there. You can see this building next door has been completely repurposed into a grist mill ordering station. You can see right here to the right of where the actual grist mill is where you'll order your cinnamon bread, and then they will like take you into the building to get it or something. I don't know, I haven't actually done it yet, but that appears to be what's going on here. And you can see the line then stretches back this way, up through here, which is a much more manageable place for the line to go, because it looks like they want to just funnel all the crowds through this side, and then over here is where your cinnamon bread line will stretch out. So yeah, you can see that from this sign on the midway, and then this new sign hanging overhead on this walkway that says order cinnamon bread this way. So I assume when it gets really busy, the line will come out here, and then their idea is you can still have traffic flow down this equally wide, actually kind of wider path on the other side, and that should theoretically help alleviate some of the clogging of this tighter path up here with the line from the grist mill, and then also just reduce the overcrowding in the grist mill in general, because the line of people will be outside of it. And it is a pretty tiny building. Definitely was not built for a park of this size. Yes, you can see exit only on that pathway there, and then there's an attendant there making sure nobody walks in there. So yeah, you'll have to order here, then walk in there to get it. It seems a little weird, but again, that building just cannot handle the crowds that it was receiving before. So this should help alleviate that. That's just one of the consequences of the park growing this fast, is that all the infrastructure was not made to handle this many people. So they're having to make adjustments. Some things like going into those small buildings to order cinnamon bread gotta change, unfortunately. So over in Country Fair, an area I don't come over to very often at all, it's just kind of a carnival setup kind of area. And if you head to the very back, you may notice back here, something looks a little bit different. Something's missing on the backdrop. This is the former location of Dizzy Disc, which was a Zamperla Disco flat ride, but it is definitely long gone now. Not relocated, it is gone. In its place, you can see a lot of seating right there in the turf. Yeah, it's not oil grass, I don't think anyway. Yeah, it's definitely turf. Walking up this way, this was the entrance. And then right here was the queue line. Yeah, you can see where the queue poles used to be in the ground for the switchbacks. And that's all just seating as well now. And then that was, this is kind of the entrance, I think. That was the staircase up to, yeah, I guess the platform. And then there's where the operator booth was. You can tell because the wires are still sticking out of the ground. Assume they'll do something about that eventually. And yeah, then there's the exit ramp, which I think is completely blocked off. Okay, it's not closed off from this side, so you can actually walk up here. You just kind of get blocked off, so not really sure why you would, unless you just want a really cool view of your friends sitting down here eating lunch or something. Yeah, just get it up here. Man, we can come up pretty close. Yeah, that's just weird. Very strange. I'm sure they probably do have some longer term plans for the site, but for now, it's just a big old seating area, which I can't complain about too much because Dollywood does have a lack of seating in general, but I also feel like there are certain areas that have a lack of seating, and this isn't really one of them. So I don't know how impactful this actually is. Despite it being opening day, it's a pretty empty day just because of the weather. So this isn't really an accurate representation of how used this space will be. We will see as the season goes on if people actually come sit over here or not. I don't know. Again, Dollywood needs more outdoor seating, but they need it in places other than tucked in this very back corner where most people will probably never stumble across it, but whatever. So yeah, rest in peace, Dizzy Disc, but also I don't care because I thought it was a terrible ride. But I know some people liked it. If that was you, I'm sorry. I assume it was a maintenance-related decision, considering it seemed to be one of the more popular rides in Country Fair, despite being tucked all the way back in the corner. So if I had to guess, it was something to do with maintenance, would be why they removed it. I'd be very interested to know if Silver Dollar City still has theirs. So yeah, if any of you happen to visit Silver Dollar City whenever they open, let me know if they still have their Zamperla Disco. Next thing you'll notice is yet another restaurant closure. This is Miss Lillian's barbecue corner, but also Miss Lillian's Smokehouse on the other side. I didn't really eat here very much. It actually seemed to be closed more than it was open anyway. And you can see there is a whole construction fence around it. We'll walk over to the other side in a second, and you can see construction material on the roofing. While I haven't seen an official announcement from Dollywood on what's going on here, I assume that they are doing the same thing they've done with many of their other older dining locations, which is just kind of upgrade the capacity, bigger kitchen to churn out more food, bigger opening, doorways and stuff. Just because most of these restaurants were not built to handle the crowds that the park has today, so they're going through one by one and enlarging them basically and upping their production capacity. So I assume that's what's happening here as well. So yeah, you can see that construction wall all the way across here, all the way to the feeder over there, the valley feeder. So this one's kind of random and it's hard to be 100% sure, but just taking a look at it, it does appear that FireChaser has been repainted, which is really cool. You can see that especially on the supports. Those used to be a much lighter color, and they appear much darker now. At first I wasn't sure if it was just because they're wet from the rain, but now I'm pretty dang sure that it has been repainted. Yes, you can tell because if you get really close to the track in a lot of spots like this, there are no scuff marks, nowhere where the paint has started to wear off yet. So this has definitely been repainted. Appears to be, again, the same color paint on the rails, but then the supports seem to be a darker shade of green. Looks very nice. Unfortunately, it has not run at all today on that brand new painted track. It's one of a surprisingly large handful of rides that just has been closed all day. It's just kind of unfortunate, but at least it looks good with that new paint. Here's something else a little shocking. If you remember the Plaza in Wilderness Pass, it does not exist anymore. This might just end up being the video of a lot of random construction walls. But yeah, this was a whole Plaza and seating area that's just not here anymore. You can see this was the main entrance into it, and it is all boarded up. Interesting. Fortunately, they've placed some benches here just for me, of course. So we can go ahead and take a look. So yeah, it's basically all there is to see. They've just completely torn it up. Even the building that was back there, there's practically no remnants of anything there other than the fountain. So I'm not really sure what they're gonna end up doing with that spot. Of course, a lot of people are gonna jump to, oh, a new ride. I'm not so sure. I've heard some people have suggested maybe a new restaurant, which would be nice. We need something like that up here. I'm just not really sure, but it's closed off and it's torn up, and we have no timeline on when that's going to be replaced in any form. Here's one of the other entrances up into here. It is definitely incredibly weird. I don't think I can really see. I maybe get my camera like in the hole. Not that there's that much to see, it's just gravel. But yeah, it does make this whole path feel incredibly weird and closed off when there used to be a whole like park plaza thing up there you could go walk through and sit down. And as soon as they put those walls up, it really feels closed off. Again, really interested what they'll do with that. They haven't announced anything. We didn't even know it was gonna be closed off. It's pretty wild. So by Thunderhead, in front of the entrance, there is a new fence, but more importantly, a new stone wall thing. It used to just be benches over here. They started doing these stone walls a lot of places throughout the park because it gives a lot more seating space than just putting up benches. So I do appreciate that. It's pretty cool. However, some of you Thunderhead lovers might be disappointed to hear this is the first year in a while where no major retracking has taken place. But the ride's still running pretty dang good, almost brand new feeling, so I didn't really need it. It was just the first year in a while it hadn't gotten anything crazy. We kind of knew beforehand that it wouldn't be. We kind of knew last year was the last year of major retracking. But yeah, that is definitely the case. Over here in Red's Drive-In across from Lightning Rod, this was one of the last locations in the entire park that still had Coca-Cola Freestyle machines. Not anymore. Goodbye Freestyle machines. Back to just regular soda fountains here as well. So there are the two over there, and there's two like on the other side of this wall over here. Rest in peace, Freestyle. I wasn't really expecting this. Back a lumberjack. The Coca-Cola Freestyle machines are still here. I wonder if they still have all the flavors in them though. No, they have some of them. Okay. So they actually are stocking some of the flavors. Okay. Including lime. Okay, why? It's funny. So yeah, if you want to use a Coca-Cola Freestyle machine, Lumberjacks in Timber Canyon is our last place to do it. Because Lumberjacks and Reds were the only ones that had them still. And as we saw earlier, Reds got rid of them. So these are the last 4 Freestyle machines in the entire park. And quite possibly the most notable change for roller coaster and theme park fans to an extent is that Lightning Rod had its LSM launch replaced with a chain lift up the hill. A lot of you know this ride has had crazy issues with huge amounts of downtime over the last couple of years. Well, ever since it opened in 2016. It's gotten better, then it's gotten worse, gotten better, and gotten worse again. They've done all sorts of modifications to the ride throughout the years, trying to make it more reliable, trying to make it not break down every 10 seconds. And so this year they finally bit the bullet and replaced the launch system with a chain lift, which was a main source of a lot of the issues. And a chain lift's obviously a much more proven and overall less problematic technology, so that should hopefully improve uptime. However, the ride was broken down for like 75% of today, so only time will tell in the long term if this actually does increase reliability or not. Along with the chain lift, the ride has gotten brand new trains, but functionally they are identical to the old trains. Still have the headrests, I still have the grab handles, everything like that. They're a little cosmetically different. They have gray padding instead of the black padding, and the actual lap bars are painted red instead of, I think they were silver before. Other than that, they look exactly the same. You can see when about to engage the lift hill right now, and you'll hear it. It's pretty dang noisy. So yeah, the new trains, lift hill, those are really the only modifications though. It is incredibly weird to see that just slowly crawling up the lift hill here. I'll insert some more closer up clips, some better vantage points from throughout the day here, so you can see that, and we'll move on. I've ridden it about 6 or 7 times since it reopened, in the front row and the back row, all over the train. And to give you a quick idea, the new trains definitely do track noticeably smoothly. It's gonna need some actual track work to eliminate a lot of the roughness it's had recently, but I mean, it is running smoother than it has the last couple of years. Additionally, the chain lift's what you would expect. It feels incredibly weird for it not to be a launch, but whatever. The rest of the ride feels functionally about the same, although presumably because the trains are a lot lighter, they do seem to lose momentum pretty quickly. By the time you get to the quad down, you can definitely notice it running quite a bit slower, but I don't think it's a huge deal. The ride was already a kind of shell of what it was when it opened anyway, and for most people it's still going to be an incredible ride for them. So then of course our main advertised new for 2024 attraction at the park is the Dolly Parton experience, which will be right here. It's not done yet. It's supposed to open in May, which seems to be the new norm for Dollywood's new attractions. Ever since Wildwood Grove in 2019, pretty much everything has opened in May rather than with the park in March. Just whatever, it's fine. So I'll go ahead and show you from this side, entering from Jukebox Junction. It's hard to tell exactly what the progress is since we can't see inside any of the buildings, but it looks like a lot of the pathing is pretty close to complete. The buildings are being painted on the outside. Like, I don't know what's going on the inside, but hopefully they'll be making progress pretty quickly if it's gonna open in 2 months. But yeah, basically it'll be 3 different buildings. The main building back there is going to be like a Dolly Parton walkthrough museum experience. This one will be closer to me, will be about kind of the clothing and stuff. And then the far one where the theater is, I don't exactly remember what that one's gonna be. It's still gonna be a theater. There's gonna be something in the lobby. Not quite sure about that, but. So here's what this side looks like. Can't really proceed any further because I got this area gated off now. But there it is. You can kind of see a little bit. That's about all there is to see. See, that's about it for what's new at Dollywood in 2024, at least what I noticed while I was here. Again, though, I was just here today and I'm just one person, so I'm sure there was plenty of stuff that I missed. Here's what I found. So if you found this interesting, be sure to give it a like. And otherwise, hope to catch your eye with you again very soon.